The home building sector is struggling to make changes and recover. Ken Campbell is a private equity turnaround specialist turned CEO. He heads up the home builder Standard Pacific and says builders may not yet have hit bottom.
The fourth quarter of last year was probably the worst quarter since World War II. Last year was supported by the federal government a little bit. So if we had hit the same levels as we hit last year, that would be positive because the private sector would have replaced the government. But it's still a little weaker than last year, so we may not have found the bottom. Yeah.
Statistically, what is the worst case scenario?
Well, I don't think it can get a lot worse. Last year we sold 320,000 houses or something. 4.5 million houses were sold. So it slowed down a bit, but there's still a lot of houses being sold. 90% of the population, 91, has a job, and their incomes have not gone down. They haven't gone up much in the last 10 years, but they haven't gone down. So if home prices have gone way down, which they have, and their incomes are flat, then homes are cheaper than they've ever been.
Banks still don't want to lend, though. How much of that do you see as being a challenge to your business?
It's harder now, which it should be. So first of all, it was too easy. It doesn't help us either, as we've demonstrated, So now maybe it's swung a little bit
too far in the other direction.
Too far, but people should have to put money down to buy a house. We don't want people to sell somebody a house that they're going to move out of 6 months later. It's not good for the business.
Should the government be doing more?
No. The things that they've done really haven't worked. So the first-time home buyer credit, it got people to buy sooner rather than later, so it kind of primed the pump, but there wasn't any water at the bottom. What they need to do is, create some jobs.
Standard Pacific is in the hardest hit areas in the country: Nevada, Arizona, Florida, California. How do you manage this challenge?
Well, what used to be the bad news, I think, will become the good news. The reason that those markets got nailed so badly was because they're the ones that grew the fastest. Those particular markets, like the ones we're in, it was 46% of the job growth over the 10 years prior to the collapse.
Are you still buying land then in California? Are you still trying to develop?
We're the big buyer in the business. We spent, $400 million last year on land, up from $100 the year before, and we expect to spend like $600 or more this year. So it's the silver lining in the lousy housing market. It's a good opportunity to buy land.
And you're in a lot of sunny spots with more and more people hitting retirement. Do you expect to see demand for your properties, for where you've developed, from this group of people?
Absolutely, but that's down the road. I think that's sort of in the 5 to 10 year time frame. My generation got nailed pretty badly. It's going to take a while for that group to recover. They're going to work longer. They're just going to have to. For a few years, those people aren't going to be coming to Florida or South Carolina or wherever, because they can't afford to. But then they will come, and there's a lot of them.